Today's video is mainly going over a lot of what we know about the Cybertruck as of today. There's probably some stuff you've already heard, but this is by far the most exciting Tesla in development for me, so that's why I'm still talking about it. But primarily, a Tesla employee that goes by the name of David Nelson has recently been promoted to a new position at Tesla that is going to be assembling a team of engineers for manufacturing different types of materials. So this is a new team starting completely from scratch, and David Nelson was previously working on different types of parts within the interior of Teslas, but now is going to be focusing on up-and-coming and innovation-style materials. And of course, most people are assuming this is referring to Cybertruck because inside seats and the materials that steering wheels and gear stocks are made out of are probably not what they're investigating with this new team. If anything, it's mainly going towards Cybertruck exoskeleton design, and Elon Musk in the past talked about how the Cybertruck is going to use the same type of steel that is being used on Starship, which is rapidly changing, and the alloys that go into it are always being tinkered with. And Elon has even said if there is a material or a different type of steel that we can make the Cybertruck out of that will make it more durable or more lightweight so that the range is better, then they will actually switch to that. So it's cool to know that a pickup truck and a insanely large rocket ship are going to be using the same types of exterior materials, and of course that's great to hear because it means that Tesla is going to be prioritizing the durability aspect of the Cybertruck that we initially saw when they originally unveiled it. And based on the thoughts I had about the Cybertruck in the last video about durability, it almost 100% seems like everybody's only interested if it can be made of steel, and a lot of people, it would be a deal breaker for them if it was not made of that extra durable exoskeleton. So it makes total sense for them to prioritize that. I'm glad they are, and I guess the shade of bad news I still want to apply here is why I still personally think Cybertruck deliveries will not start until next year. After the last Tesla earnings call, there was bizarrely and unfortunately no mention of the Cybertruck almost at all. Pretty much the only updates we had in regards to Cybertruck is they're still working on it, and that of course has me quite annoyed because Elon initially said that they planned on providing us with some type of Cybertruck production update within Q2, and now we're almost coming up on halfway through the second quarter. Still haven't really gotten anything, and I thought that if there was going to be a Cybertruck update of sorts, having it during that earnings call, which takes place at the very end of April, would have made perfect sense because that's typically when Tesla drops their little site refreshes, things like the Model S and X refresh with all of their interior and exterior tweaks in the Plaid timeline. All of that was dropped during the Q4 earnings report within the shareholder deck, and we essentially got nothing in that deck other than Gigafactory updates and pictures of GigaTexas, which are being listed as Model Y factory, not Cybertruck factory. So if there's still some people out there expecting Cybertruck deliveries to be at the end of this year, I hope you're right. I would love to be wrong on this because I want the Cybertruck to come out as soon as possible, but thanks to some breakdowns of the layout of GigaTexas that we've gotten from Jeff Roberts, who's been covering the construction of GigaTexas since practically day zero, he's been very diligent in staying on top of things, we can essentially figure out what the purpose of each site of the construction area is for. We know that the big middle building with the green walls is basically the paint shop, and right next to that we have gigapresses installed, and both on the east and west sides of the factory that are pretty elongated and pretty much square, those are all essentially going to be general assembly areas for the Model Y, and we have a stamping press on one end, and the northwestern corner of GigaTexas that's expanding and kind of growing into that iconic hexagonal shape that we know gigafactories to look for. That's been growing and expanding out a lot in terms of the steel going in and more roofing materials put on site, but from what we've heard so far, that northwestern site is most likely going to be for 4680 production. So from what we know most recently, 4680s that are coming out of the Cato Road facility are most likely all going to be supplying Giga Berlin with 4680s. Most recent reports is that Berlin is going to take a little bit longer to come online than they initially thought because of essentially paperwork over in Germany. Prime Minister still expects that facility to be operational by the end of this year, but it will not be producing its own 4680s at first. They're all going to have to be shipped there from Cato Road, and any spare 4680s are likely going to go towards Tesla Semi, which pilot production is expected to be at Giga Nevada. So between a bunch of 4680s going to Germany, some 4680s powering the Semi, I don't think there's going to be enough 4680s to also provide batteries for GigaTexas Model Y, which is of course going to be coming out first before the Cybertruck. Cybertruck, so my prediction is that since that northwestern area of GigaTexas is being designated for 4680s, I think GigaTexas is going to be producing its own batteries locally from the get-go. I actually think that Cato Road won't have to ship any batteries to Texas. In fact, Texas is just not going to come online until they can produce enough 4680s out of the northwestern sector. And yeah, it'll be limited production at first. I don't expect GigaTexas to be delivering hundreds of thousands of vehicles by the end of this year, but initial pilot production, they're going to take what they've learned from the Cato Road facility, apply that to GigaTexas, and once they are producing their own cells, that's when official deliveries will begin. And that, of course, means that somewhat of the southwestern area of GigaTexas is likely where Cybertruck production is going to be. And as you can tell from the latest videos, there's not a huge priority on getting that sector of the factory up and running anytime soon. So what I'm trying to say is that the Cybertruck production facility that is going to be that corner of the factory has not even got steel that much in the air yet. It still seems to be kind of the back of the line priority for Tesla, and GigaTexas is going to be all about Model Y at first. So I still expect Cybertruck deliveries next year, probably in the first half, but knowing that the 4680 ramp could be a bit further away than we expect, you know, at the last earnings call, Tesla mentioned that they're 12 to 18 months away from volume production, and to me, that was pretty evident that Cybertruck is not going to be making any type of massive deliveries by this year. If anything, we'd be lucky to get pilot production by the end of 2021, and honestly, at this point, I don't even see that happening, knowing the basic layout of GigaTexas and what's being prioritized at first. But we do know from the Q4 earnings call that the Cybertruck production model is done. They're not tinkering the design anymore. We just don't get to see it yet, and I hope that they do stay true to their word and give us some type of update on the design, give us some type of update on the timeline by the end of this quarter. But knowing Elon and how most of his attention is probably going towards the full self-driving beta right now and just getting these factories up and running, I'm going to predict we probably won't get any Cybertruck updates for the foreseeable future until they have actually something to show us. And right now they probably don't, other than a slightly tweaked design, maybe a few concept of what side view mirrors would look like and that type of thing. I'd love to be proven wrong though, so if you guys still have any evidence or any reasons to believe Cybertruck production can begin this year, feel free to let me know. Thank you all for watching. Hope you have an excellent rest of your day. Take care.